Hello, good evening, ladies, and welcome. I can't believe this is already our last week for our Feel Like You Again program. So today is our session number 6, and I have lots of information, like always, that I'm going to be sharing with you. But before we start, I just want to make sure that we start with a bit of a technology check. So if you can hear me, and if you can see my screen, which should be my picture and the title Feel Like You Again, week number 6. If you can please raise your hand. If you can please just click on the icon. Oh, perfect. Everybody can hear me. Thank you so much. Hello, Maureen. Hello, Romeo. Hello, Veronica. Hello, Jessica. So I'm just going to put your hands down. And we're still waiting for a few other ladies to log in, so they'll probably start logging in a little bit later. But yeah, so let's get started. So I'm glad we are all set. I want to first hear from you ladies, see how you've been doing. And then, of course, I'm going to be sharing a lot of extra information. So want to make sure that you have your favorite drink with you, hopefully a nice herbal tea or some water with lemon and a paper and a pen so you can take your notes. Excellent. So the agenda for today, first of all, I want to hear from you. I want to know exactly how you've been doing, how you've been feeling. I have received the progress report for most of you, but I'm missing 2 progress reports. So you probably know who you are, but here it goes. I'm missing Tracy's, I'm missing Nadia's progress reports. So I really do want to see your progress report. So even though, we're already finished, today's our last session, I still want to know how you've been feeling. I want to know what you've been able to do. I want to know what has improved, what hasn't improved. So please, 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 if you're listening to the playback or if I see you logging in, I'm going to remind you. But I do need those 2 extra progress reports. So please email those to me at your earliest convenience. Okay, perfect. So, sorry. So I want to hear from you. And then I want to share with you, I don't know if any one of you is part of my a Facebook group, but I've been sharing, there, some new information on fasting, some a new study that has just come out, which is very exciting. So I'm going to share this information with all of you ladies in case you haven't been listening to my Facebook lives, Then we're going to talk about how to read labels. So as much as I'm always encouraging everyone, and I'm encouraging you throughout this whole program, I've been trying to eat more whole foods. Sometimes we're just going to end up eating, something that's packaged. So I want to talk to you a little bit about how to read labels and how to make better choices if you are going to eat something from a package, okay? Then we're going to talk about how to deal with holiday gatherings and celebrations. So I know we haven't had too much of this up to now over the past little over a year. But things are opening up, people are getting ready, to meet up again. So how do we deal with that? We are following a healthy eating, routine, and, there's going to be get-togethers. So, we don't want to necessarily every time we get together, to go off track, or, we move 2 steps forwards and then we get together with someone, or with some form of like party or something, and then we have like 3 steps backwards. So we don't want to do that. So then we are also going to talk about eating out. So again, with everything opening up, I'm getting more and more, patients, saying, oh, I'm going here, I'm going to that restaurant, I haven't been in over a year, So how can you eat out and how can you enjoy, going to a restaurant and not necessarily let that affect your progress, okay? Then we're going to do a quick, together we're going to do a quick program evaluation. I just want to get your feedback as to what you thought of the whole program. I figured this way it's a little bit easier as opposed to sending you emails and having you fill out more forms. So just to keep it simple, I'm just going to ask you some quick, maybe quick 4 questions just to get some feedback. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to talk about where to go from here, because the last thing I want is for you guys to just finish the 6 weeks and say, oh, well, that was great. I'm feeling better, and then just forget about it. Or maybe you follow it for an extra week and then you just fall backwards. So I really, really don't want this to happen to any one of you, from the group. So we're going to talk about what would be a good step, next for you guys. Okay, excellent. So let's get started. So I want to hear from you. So in the question box, there should be a little box there called chat or questions. Everyone will have it labeled a little bit differently. If you can just type in, how do you feel? How do you think your health has improved, in the past 6 weeks? I do have some summaries because most of you did hand in your progress report. So I do have a slide, coming next, with a summary of everything, that you've told me in your progress report. But I just want to hear from you. So if you can please type into the question box or into the chat box, how do you feel your health has improved in the past 6 weeks? Oh, hi, Tracy. I think you just logged in. Tracy, I was just talking about you. I need your progress report. So when you get a chance, if you can please send that to me, that would be great. But for now, please just type into the question box, how have you guys been feeling? So think about all the symptoms, that you started with. A lot of you said that you wanted to have more energy. A lot of you said that you wanted to get rid of the bloating. A lot of you said that you wanted to try to lose some weight. Some of you said that you wanted to decrease the cravings for carbs, for sweets, and just feel like you had more control, in your diet, in your lifestyle, in your nutrition. Some of you were having problems with motivation, at the very beginning, which, usually doing things as a group, can help, with motivation. Some of you were having problems with your sleep. So if you don't mind just typing into the question box, just give me some feedback as to how you feel your health has improved in the past 6 weeks. Okay, so answers are starting to come in. I feel great, in control of my eating habits, no sugar, coffee, or gluten for 6 weeks. Wow, Maureen, congratulations. That is a huge task. And especially because I know at the beginning of the 6 weeks, you were having some problems, getting back on track. So that is, I'm so happy to hear that. Lost, I'm assuming that says 6.5 pounds and not 61 pounds. So 6.5 pounds. And feeling very happy. Congratulations, Maureen. I'm so happy to hear that. I'm feeling less bloated, more energy. Excellent. Tracy, thank you. I feel like I can sleep better, and I'm feeling in more control of my lifestyle. Excellent, Jess. That is great. That is the whole purpose. Anyone else who wants to share with us how they felt during the 6 weeks? If any one of you can't use the question box, if you can't type it in and you'd like me to unmute you, maybe you just want to share with us, I can do that. You can just raise your hand and I can try to unmute you. If anyone wants to actually just talk to us. Okay. I know some people type a little slower than others. Okay, so I'm just going to keep on going, but hopefully there's more ladies who are willing to share their experience over the past 6 weeks. And if at any point you want to say something, you want to talk to me, then just raise your hand and I will unmute you. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we'll just keep on going for now, and then I'll check the question box in a second. So, so this was the summary. I'm kind of surprised that I didn't get a lot more people, answering the question, because the progress reports have been pretty positive, the ones that I've been receiving. So the points with the star, I put a star when there's been more than one lady who mentioned this. So a lot of you have said that you've been feeling a lot more energy. Oh, I think there's another comment. Let me see. Oh, here we go. More energy, lost some weight, less back pain, and better quality sleep. Excellent. Thank you for sharing, Romeo. Okay. So yeah, so many of you have said that you're feeling a lot more energy, which is great. And that's how you know your immune system is being boosted and you're healing, because, the very first thing that should get better is the bloating, and then usually energy, goes up as well. Generally feeling better and taking control of my lifestyle. So a couple of you said that. Easier time getting back on track when I go off track. So somebody mentioned in their progress report that, it hasn't been perfect for them, and it isn't for many, but she has been finding that when she does go off track, she has a better ability to get back on track, which is really, really good. Many of you have lost some weight, so that's great. Many of you have, of course, lost the bloating, less cravings for sweets and carbs, less need to and urge to snack, which is really good. Feeling more motivated. A few of you said that you've been sleeping better. Romeo said less back pain, but other people also said less muscle and joint pain, and of course, bowel movements. The bowel movements is something that I wanted to make sure that everybody was having the fluffy floaters, not the stinky sinkers, and having at least one bowel movement every day. So excellent job, ladies. This is exactly what I would expect, to have seen. Now, there are still some of you, who obviously you still want to continue losing weight. Most people are not going to get to their ideal weight in just 6 weeks. So you want to continue losing weight. There is someone who's still having, issues with bloating, which a little surprised, because normally by the time you're following these recommendations, usually the bloating gets better. So if you're still feeling bloated, even though you have been following all the recommendations of the 6 weeks, I would recommend you considering doing a comprehensive stool analysis test, just to see if there isn't something else that's going on digestive-wise that's causing the bloating. So if you want more information about that, let me know, send me an email, or you can, type a question into the Facebook group and I can talk about it on Friday's Facebook Live. But yeah, normally in a regular case, the bloating following these recommendations should have gotten better. Okay, so if your bloating has not gotten, or not even a little bit better, then maybe there's something else going on. If you're a little bit better but not quite gone, then that's okay. Like, maybe you just need to keep on working on it, right? But if you're saying, what, Dr. Miranda, I've been following everything that you've been suggesting to a T, over the past 6 months, 6 weeks, and I'm still feeling bloated, then yeah, I would probably look a little bit closer, as to what's going on. Or maybe, you're still bloated. Maybe you haven't followed everything 100%. So maybe you can just go back, to the recommendations and continue working on it. Again, we all go through this process very differently, right? Yeah, but if you have any questions on that, let me know. Okay, and you know who you are. And then, of course, one of the ladies is still feeling hoarse, and I know you've emailed me what your next plan of action is, and I think I emailed you back. So I think that's just a one-off. So that's not a common thing. Okay, excellent. So I'm very, very excited to present this next few slides, because I just attended a brain summit, how to improve memory and how to treat Alzheimer's and how to treat dementia. So I was really excited to learn all the new research and all of this. And a lot of the benefits, a lot of what we've been talking about actually, a lot of the studies are in getting into ketosis and increasing ketones, and therefore fasting, as a way of treating neurological, problems, or, neurological degenerative, problems, or problems such as Alzheimer's or dementia or Parkinson's, or just in general, women who want to improve their memory and improve their focus. So there was a lot of talk about fasting and the benefits of fasting. So I just want to present this one study, to you guys. And I know the fasting that I gave you was only for the 2 days, and it wasn't like a full-blown just water fast. You know, it was a little bit of a milder form of fasting, but it still does the trick. Like, it still gets us into ketosis, you know, which is what we want. So so it still applies. Okay, so fasting impact on behavioral and emotional well-being survey. So after a fast. Now, this study was with people following a 5-day fast. So I know I've been telling you guys to just do 2 days. This study was actually with 5 days. Okay, so after 5 days of fasting, 89% of the participants were motivated to adapt a healthier lifestyle. So some of you have already, you know, with what we've been doing, already feel like you're in better control, you know, like you're more motivated, which is great. But after doing a 5-day fast, 89% of the people were motivated. 80% of the people were more mindful, became more mindful of what they're eating, you know. And you guys haven't really said anything, but I'm assuming this is something, you know, that you guys are feeling as well. We just think about our foods more, you know. We're not just shoving things in our mouth because all of a sudden we start thinking, oh, wait a second, that's high glycemic, or no, I already had my carb, I shouldn't be having that. You know, so usually going through a program like this, it does make you more mindful. But that was one of the things that they checked in the study, you know. So people who go through a 5-day fast, you know, they do become more mindful of what they're eating. 77% of the participants felt more in control over their health. So again, not surprising. 70% of the patients established healthier eating habits after doing a fast. You know, makes sense. You know, if you're more mindful, you're feeling more motivated, you're feeling more controlled, so you're going to establish better eating habits. 69% of the participants, you know, had better portion control, you know, after doing a 5-day fast. 67% of the participants claimed to have less food cravings once the fast was completed. 65% of the participants able to resist sugary foods better than before. 61% of the participants seem to have improvement in their energy level. 67% of the participants had less food cravings after the fast was completed. 62% improved on mental clarity and focus. And that was one of the focuses in the summit that I took, because it was all about, you know, focus and cognition, you know, and memory and brain health in general. So fasting, getting into these, you know, this ketosis will help also memory, you know, and prevent, you know, Alzheimer's, dementia. I mean, nowadays, Alzheimer's dementia is considered a diabetes type 3, right? Just because of the big connection that it has to blood sugar balance. And of course, we said already 61% had greater energy, you know, as well. So physiologically, what they were able to find during this 5-day fast is that during day 1, this is what happens. The body transitions into a fasting state and fat burning mode, so it begins cellular cleanup. So right away, even on day 1, your body's already turning into fat burning mode, and it starts detoxifying the cells. So this is what I was saying. I know some of you were kind of like, oh, I'm not sure, you know, about this fast. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do it or not. Even if you just do it for 1 day, you know, I mean, you're not going to get the full benefit, but you will, you know, start making some really good changes, you know, in your body, even if you just do it for 1 full day. Okay. If you want more benefits, of course, you want to do it for a little longer. So on day 2, for those of you who did it for the 2 full days, the fat burning ramps up, contributing to the initiation of ketogenesis. So which means that your body starts producing more ketones, and the ketones is what can help to clear up, like it creates more clearer thoughts, you know, and clearer focus. By the end of this day, 48 hours, ketosis, you know, may occur. So again, in the 2nd day, you know, we just mostly, you know, start burning fat even more than just than day 1. On day 3, if you were to continue doing it for the 3rd day, what's going to happen is that the cellular cleanup begins. So autophagy, fat burning and ketone production and utilization continues, and it increases even more. On day 4, again, more detoxification, so cellular cleaning, and now rejuvenation, continues as well, and you continue just fat burning. So what's this rejuvenation all about? So we're all about in naturopathic medicine, we're all about our body heals itself. We believe in our body's ability to heal. Our cells are always, dying, and then new ones are being formed. So when we do this fast, what they were able to find physiologically is that by day 4, your cells start rejuvenating, which is just amazing. It's really, really cool. And then by day 5, sustained cellular recycling, rejuvenation, and renewal, and sustained ketosis. So just amazing, because I've never really seen the study that has actually specifically told us what's happening physiologically in our body with the fasting. We always knew that fasting was great. We always knew that fasting lowers insulin. We always knew that fasting can, help us lose the weight, and decrease the cravings, and all these wonderful things. But, to actually see somebody who has studied physiological changes, in each day, and this is a 5-day fast. So, so keep this in mind, ladies. Now, if you feel like, oh my God, I could barely get through the 2 days, then that's okay. Don't push yourself, just do it for the 2 days. I promise you, as you keep on doing it, it's going to get easier and easier and easier. Just earlier today, I was talking to a patient who I had introduced the fasting idea to her even before COVID. So it was like maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago. And at the beginning, she had a really, really hard time. And now when I talk to her, she's like, Sandra, I'm doing it 2 days out of every week. It's so easy for me. It's no problem at all. She does it on Thursday, Friday, because she's going to have her cheat meal on the Saturday. And she finds that when she does the fasting on Thursday, Friday, her body's a lot more forgiving, and having that cheat meal doesn't, set her backwards, on the Saturday when she does that. So that's just a pattern that she's gotten herself into, and it's been working really well. She's been slowly but steadily losing weight, and she feels fantastic. So anyway, so I really wanted to share that, with you, and hopefully that just continues encouraging you, to not give up on your fasting days. Okay, any questions from there before we move on to reading labels? Oh, I see some other comments actually. Oh, Romeo, are we supposed to be viewing a different slide? I'm still on the opening slide, just checking. Are we still on the initial screen? Oh, you guys are not. Hold on. So right now you should be seeing a screen that says reading labels. Can you raise your hand? Okay, raise your hand if you can see the slide called reading labels. Okay, oh my God, so you guys missed all those slides? Okay, so I'm just gonna go back. Okay, so this was the slide number 1. I mean, you guys heard the information. So, it's, people have felt more motivated, more mindful, better control, healthier eating habits. Oh, I'm so sorry. I think I had all the slides in pause, so I'm so sorry about that. This slide was talking about how, people felt, better portion control, less food cravings, able to resist sugary foods, and better energy, and here better mental clarity. So these were just the results. And this is the slide that was showing physiologically what was happening in your body when you were doing the 5-day, fast. Okay, what I'm gonna do is maybe just for you guys to go through this, I'm going to make a picture of this slide and email it to everyone, just for you guys to take some time, and read through it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So let's talk about reading labels. Okay. So like I said, you ideally want to just eat more whole foods, as much as possible. But, sometimes, it's inevitable, or sometimes there's some healthy, packaged foods out there that may be okay. So this is what I want you to check. So whenever you get any product, it's going to have the nutritional fact box, okay? Right underneath or right on the side of the nutritional fact box, it's going to have the ingredients, okay? So the very first thing that you should be looking at is the ingredients, okay? So under the ingredients, what you're gonna check is just to see, first of all, if it has any sugar, added. So the way you know that any product has sugar added is if you find any word ending in ose. So glucose, fructose, maltose, dextrose, all of those words mean sugar, okay? Also, if you find the word corn syrup or fruit juice concentrate, all of those are sugar. If you find the word organic sugar, that's still sugar. Don't let the organic word, fool you. Especially when you're looking at the ingredients, especially if it's in the top 5 or 6 ingredients, that is what that product is going to have the most of. So if you do see a product and there's some sugar in the top 5 ingredients, just put it aside. That's not a good food for you, okay? The other things that you want to look for, is there any food colorings? Usually food colorings are listed with numbers. So like yellow dye number 89 or blue number 87, things like that. So those are food colorings. You are never deficient in food colorings. You never need food colorings. So you just want to put that aside. The worst ingredient is probably the high fructose corn syrup. So that's really bad, super high glycemic and very damaging. Some authors believe that it's a carcinogen, as well. So just not one of the things that you want to give your children, and not something that you want to be taking yourself. Aspartame, you want to stay away from aspartame. We talked about aspartame in terms of the thyroid. It can really affect the thyroid, so you want to be careful with that. Make sure you're not taking MSG. MSG is a flavoring, sometimes labeled as hydrolyzed soy protein or hydrolyzed yeast. MSG will make you retain water, will make you retain toxins, and will make you gain the weight, 100% guaranteed, okay? So you want to be careful with MSG. You want to avoid that. Sodium benzoate, sodium nitrates, or any trans fatty acids. So just in general, the more simple the ingredient list is, the better it's going to be for you. The more you're finding words that you can't even pronounce, or words that you have no clue what the heck that is, put it aside, okay? Because it's probably not going to be healthy for you, okay? So that's the very first thing you want to look at, is don't even look at the nutritional fact tables first. You are going to look at that. We're going to have to go through that in a second. But the very first thing that you want to do is just go through the ingredients, okay? Okay, so then the next step is, now we're going to look at the nutritional fact table, okay? So the very first thing that you want to look at, before you start analyzing, well, how much carbs does it give us? How much protein does it give us? Is you want to check, what is the serving size, right? Like if you have, for example, some almonds, like this, in this example, for example, this is organic oven roasted almonds. This is a nutritional fact table for organic almonds. So you're going to look at that and say, oh, it gives me 6 grams of protein. Yeah, but how much? The whole bag? Or is that like 2 almonds? Or like how much? So you first want to know, before you even look at the carbs or the proteins or the fats or anything like that, have a look at what is the serving size, okay? Because then you want to consider, okay, well, am I going to eat? Like in this case, the serving size is 2 tablespoons. Am I going to eat the 2 tablespoons, or am I going to have the whole bag, right? So that's going to give you a better idea as to how much protein or fats or carbs you're going to be taking in with that specific food that you're going to be eating, okay? So the very first thing you're going to look at is look at the serving size, and then compare that to what you're going to be eating. The next thing you want to look at is the calories, right? So you guys know by now, in week number 2, and if you don't know, go back to your notes from week number 2, our first live session. We would have talked about, how many calories you should be eating in a day depending on your BMI, right? So it's in that little box in that chart, that I gave you. So then you want to have a look at, you know, so let's say you guys are eating 1,300 calories a day or 1,400 calories a day. And so you're going to have some almonds and you're going to have 2 tablespoons, and that's 160 calories. Okay, so that may be okay, right? Or may not be okay. So it depends what else you've been eating during the rest of the day. Or maybe you're super hungry and you want the 4 tablespoons of the almonds, but then you have to make sure that you know that that's actually 320, you know, calories. Okay, so after looking at the serving size, you want to have a look at the calories. Then you want to look at the breakdown, you know, of all the nutrients that that food has. So you want to choose a product that will have more fiber, more vitamins, more minerals, more potassium. Potassium is really good for us. And a lot of the foods that don't have any potassium, they won't even have potassium listed there. I'm going to show you some examples. So if you don't see the potassium listed there, is chances are it doesn't have any potassium, okay? And you want to choose a product that has less fat, saturated fats, trans fatty acids, sodium, as you guys know, that's the salt, cholesterol, carbohydrates, things like that. So you want more of the above list and less of the things below, okay? So let's go through one example. And again, there's no right or wrong, ladies, okay? Let's go through one example. So here is the label of a beef burger versus a label of a chicken burger. So I want you guys to type into the question box, which one would you choose? Would you choose the beef burger or the chicken burger, and why? And if any one of you can't type into the question box and you'd like to share with us your opinion, then just raise your hand and I will unmute you, okay? So again, there's no right or wrong. Just let me know, which one would you choose? So you want to have a look at the calories. You want to have a look at how much protein is it giving you? How much sodium, you know, is it giving you? How much fat is it giving you? Okay. Okay, so Maureen is saying that she would choose the chicken. I'm wondering why. Okay, so here comes an answer. I would choose the beef because it has more iron and I need the iron. Yeah. So that's a very good reason, you know, to choose the beef, right? And I'm just talking between beef and chicken. There's probably other options, you know, if you need the iron, you know, that may be healthier. But yeah, a lot of people would. Let me just see if there's any more answers before I start giving you my opinion. Okay, well, if you guys want to type it in, just type it in. So a lot of people would look at this, you know, and say, well, I'm going to choose the beef, you know, like Jessica said, you know, like she would choose the beef because she needs iron, right? Look at the iron content in the chicken. That's only 2%. You know, the iron content in the beef is 30%, right? Maureen said she would choose the chicken. I'm assuming maybe because it has less fat, you know, than the beef, you know, she would want to have that. However, if you look at the sodium, you know, the chicken has 800 milligrams versus the beef has about 330 milligrams only. So if you're trying to lose the weight, maybe the chicken one would be better. But if you have issues with, let's say, water retention, or if you have issues with high blood pressure, then maybe the chicken one is not the best option either, right? The protein, there's not a big difference between the proteins between the beef and the chicken. Calorie wise, the chicken one is also less calories. So again, maybe this is why you said, Maureen, that you would choose a chicken because of the calories. And if you're trying to lose the weight, maybe you want to have, you know, the less calories. So again, there's no right or wrong, but this is how I want you to start looking, at the labels, or if you're debating between two things, then you'll have a better idea which one to choose. Okay. So another example. So cookies number 1 is from the left. Cookies number 2 is from the right. Okay. So have a look at the label and tell me which one would you choose. You can either type it into the question box, or I'm going to ask you to raise your hand in a second after you've had a look at it. Okay. So cookie number 1, you have 2 cookies, gives you 150 calories. Look at the protein, look at the sugars, look at the carbs. So let's just do, let me see if anyone typed anything in. Would you choose cookies number 1 or cookies number 2? Okay, Marina's saying less calories, fat, sugar, more protein. Absolutely, Marine. Yeah, so the only bad thing about the chicken burger would have been the sodium, right? So, and usually this is the case with processed foods, is when it has less fat, when a product has less fat, they increase the sodium because they want to improve the taste of it, right? Which is part of the reason why it's so much better just to, make your own burgers, from scratch, and that way you don't have to worry about it. Okay, so so answers are coming in. Cookies number 2, cookies number 2, 2, 2. Okay, yeah, most people choose cookies number 2. 1, a lot of people say because it allows you to eat 4 cookies, instead of just the 2 cookies, even though my feeling is that these cookies would probably be smaller. But yeah, with the 4 cookies, you're taking in a little bit more protein, but not a whole lot. Calories are a little bit less. The fat is a little bit less. The sugar is a little bit less. So yeah, absolutely. So if you are going to treat yourself with some cookies, cookies number 2 would probably be a better choice. Okay. This one I love showing. Okay. I'm always telling you guys to use Ezekiel bread or a fermented sprouted bread, right? Versus the white bread. So look at the comparison of the nutritional, table, nutritional facts of each one of the breads. So the one from the left is Ezekiel, the one from the right is the white bread. So I don't even have to ask you which one would you choose, because I would die if anyone told me that they would choose the white bread, over the Ezekiel bread. But if you look at it closely, they're both 1 slices. So we're comparing apples to apples. Ezekiel actually has a little bit more calories. It has 80 calories versus the white bread has 60, but it's more nutrient dense, right? So this one actually has potassium listed. And the white bread has 0 potassium, in it. It has more protein. It has more of the mineral content, which the white bread is completely empty calories, right? It has less sodium. Ezekiel bread only has 80 milligrams of sodium, as opposed to the white bread has 130, milligrams of sodium. And I mean, I was even surprised to even see that, because you never think about white bread having any sodium, let alone 130, milligrams of sodium. Okay. So that's how to kind of look. So I hope these exercises are helpful. Now, if you want to lose weight, and I'm asking you to watch the amount of carbs. So again, the easiest thing is just follow what I taught you on session number 2 with that chart. Just have the 1 serving of the carbs per day, and that will make your life a lot easier. But if you're feeling like, well, I'm still doing that, I'm still not losing weight, and you want to go in and start checking a little bit more carefully at the total amount of carbs versus the net amount of carbs, per day that you're eating, then this is what you need to look at. Okay. So the total amount of carbs is, for example, in this nutritional box, is where it says total carbohydrates 37 grams. The net amount of carbs is the total amount of carbs minus the fiber. Okay. So do you see in this example, for example, the fiber is 4 grams. So total amount of carbs is 37 grams. The net amount of carbs is actually 33 grams. Okay, is that clear? So if you're trying to lose weight, you want to aim for less than 25 grams of total carbohydrates per day in order to get into ketosis. Okay, so ketosis means when you start burning fat. Ketosis means when your insulin starts going down, your body starts secreting the glucagon, which is the hormone that's going to make you burn fat. Okay, so if you've been following my program, you're still not losing weight, or maybe you are losing weight, but then at some point you're going to hit a plateau. Then you want to get a little bit close, have a closer look at all the things that you're eating, okay? And have a look at what is the total amount of carbs and what's the net amount of carbs that you're eating in a day, okay? So if you want to lose weight a little bit quicker, then you would aim for no more than 25 grams of total carbs. Once you get into ketosis, and that can take you the 5 days, that can take you a week, that can take you 2 weeks, everyone's a little different. Then you can do 25 grams of net carbs, per day, okay? Make sense? If you have any questions, raise your hand or just type it in, okay? Because this is really important information. Okay, so for example, this is just protein bars, okay? We have the Susie's Gut Fats and we have the Simply Protein Bars. Which one would you choose and why? Have a look at the total carbs and versus the net carbs. This is the main thing that I want you to do with this exercise. So type it into the question box. Which one would you choose? So if you look at the Susie's Gut Fat, for example, the total carbs is what? 12 grams, right? The net carbs of the Susie's Gut Fats is 12 minus 8. That's only 4 grams of carbs, which is pretty good, for a bar, right? The Simply Protein Bar, if you looked at just the amount of sugar, it only has 2 grams of sugar. So it still looks pretty good, doesn't it? But if you look at the total carbs, this one has 17 grams. And if you look at the net carbs, it has 9 grams of net carbs. Right? So then which one would you choose? Like most people would probably choose the Susie's Gut Fats because the net carbs and the total carbs is less. Okay, so I hope I didn't confuse the heck out of you guys, but I think that's really good information for those of you who are still eating, things that come from a package. Okay, so you want to aim for the 25 grams ideally of the total carbs. And then with time, once you get into ketosis, then you can start having the 25 grams of the net carbs. Okay, do you have any questions about this? Okay, and again, if you can type something in, just raise your hand and I can try to unmute you. Okay, there's a question coming in. Oh, there was a question actually while you're typing that in. There was a question, somebody asked about ashwagandha, what's the best way to take ashwagandha? And I think this was you, Veronica. Veronica, you said that you have the ashwagandha tincture and the powder. I usually recommend most of my patients, because most of my patients are doing a protein shake, just to add the ashwagandha powder to the protein shake. So you can just start. I've seen many patients who are fine with just half a teaspoon of the ashwagandha. They find that when they take that in the morning, they have a better ability to deal with stress, throughout the day, because ashwagandha is a cortisol balancer. And I have some patients who do feel a lot better when they take the full teaspoon, per day. So you can maybe judge by knowing your own body, like how sensitive you are. If you're fairly sensitive, to things, and if it doesn't take much, for you to start reacting to things or to vitamins or to medication, then I would just start with half a teaspoon, and see how it goes. And then leave the 1 teaspoon for maybe if you're having like a time of high stress, or if you're like go, 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 then maybe have a little bit more, in that case. Okay. The tincture is okay as well. I haven't used it as much, but I know that it exists. It depends on the concentration. Generally speaking, with tinctures, again, generally speaking, the dose would be 60 drops up to 3 times a day, in some water. You always want to mix it in some water. So if you don't want to sit there and start counting 60 drops, it's about a teaspoon, more or less. But again, if you're just using it for maintenance, you're not really treating anything too chronic, start using it once a day. Now tinctures should be taken on an empty stomach, but you always want to mix it in some water. Okay. So the tinctures really does depend on the concentration, but you can start, with just taking it once a day, about a teaspoon, of the tincture in some water. If you're not sure, you can always just follow the directions of the bottle, as well, because the bottle should tell you, a conservative dose of what would be okay to take. Okay, so that's the question on the ashwagandha. Oh, Veronica, I'm glad you can type things in now. Can we have more carbs if there is no animal products in the diet? Well, it depends if you're trying to lose weight or not. It depends if you're trying to lower your insulin, or not. So I believe in your case, if my mind and my brain is not mistaken, I believe you are trying to lose some weight. And being a vegan and a vegetarian can be a very, very healthy diet. Obviously, there's tons of research and tons of reasons why that can be a healthy diet. But that is the trickiest part, I find, finding a way of increasing the protein without increasing the carbs. So you still have to watch the carbs, Veronica, if you're trying to lower insulin and if you're trying to lose the weight. So and so maybe what you can do is for a day, just count how much carbs you are having and try to lower it, and try to have more of the proteins that are more concentrated, proteins that have less of the carbs, in there. Okay, and you can just follow the handout that I gave you in session number 2, if you want to kind of get a better idea of how many of the portions of each thing you should be having. Okay, so let's keep on going. Okay, so how to deal with holiday gatherings and celebrations. So the very first thing that I always tell my patients, and something that I do myself, before you go on the celebration, or even like during the celebration, just try to remind yourself what your goals are. Try to take a deep breath, try to slow down a little bit, try to take a deep breath and try to focus, okay, what are my goals here? Maybe your goal is to get stronger, or to improve your immune system, or to lose the weight, or just to get healthier, or to decrease the bloating, or decrease the inflammation, in your body. So I think the very first thing is you have to put an intention to your day, and just remind yourself, this is my goal, this is what's important to me, and then go to the gathering, go to the celebration with that in mind. Okay, so that's the very first thing that I would recommend. Second is, as most of you know, if you're following my program, from week number 2, most people just need to have 1 carb per day, right? So chances are when you go to a get together that you're going to be having some carbs. I mean, there's a good chance of that. So what you can do is, even though it's not a good idea to arrive to the get together hungry, so I'm not saying skip meals so you can have all your calories during the celebration. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that maybe just don't have the carb, before the celebration, so that you can keep your serving of carb for when you are, during the celebration. Okay. Never arrive to the event hungry. So that's really, really important. It's a big mistake that a lot of people make. They're like, oh, I'm just going to skip breakfast, I'm just going to skip lunch, and I'm going to go to the gathering so I can have all my calories there. It's not a good idea, because as soon as you get to the gathering and you see the table full of options, some of them may be healthy, some of them may not be. Trust me, you're not going to have any control, and you're just going to start eating all sorts of foods that normally you wouldn't be eating if you weren't that hungry. Okay. You want to focus on the socializing and not on the food. So don't stay around the table where all the food is. Try to go to the living room or somewhere else, to socialize with other people that are not necessarily in the kitchen, where all the food is. You want to control the portions of what you're eating, so, if there's different size plates, maybe choose just a small plate, and don't feel it. It's just amazing, these little things, that we do. If we get a bigger plate, we're going to have a tendency to want to fill up the plate. So grab a small plate, and automatically you're going to find that you're probably going to be eating less. Okay. Eat slowly, savor the food, and never go back to seconds. Okay. How many times, I know it's happened to me so many times, that I get my first plate, and I make good choices, right? Like I'm choosing the right foods. And then I finish it and I feel like, oh my God, that was just so tasty. I just want to go and grab some more. And it's only after I have my seconds that I feel like, whoa, so bloated. I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have had, seconds. So eat slowly, savor your food, again, focus on the socializing, not just in the eating, and never go back for seconds. And don't think about the deprivation, think about addition. So don't go and start like feeling all deprived and it's like, oh my God, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't have that, and I can't drink this, but go and try to, look and focus on the foods that you can eat. And always offer to bring a dish. Okay, most people will be happy, with that. So offer to bring a dish, and of course, make it a healthy one. Make it something with all you can eat vegetables. So at the very least, if you get there and there isn't very healthy options, which sometimes happens, at the very least, you'll have your plate with some healthier options, okay? So what are some examples of healthy options? And I believe this was part of the handout that you should have received a couple of hours before we started. So have some juicy watermelon chunks, for example. That's part of the fruits that you're allowed to eat. Have some pineapple. Have a platter of veggies, with a bit of a dip. Guacamole, hummus, whole wheat pita quarters if you want to have that, or maybe just get something sourdough, and then you can actually have a conversation about sourdough and maybe even like motivate somebody else to have some sourdough bread. Big colorful salads, or have grilled vegetables. Once we had somebody come over to our house and they brought this grilled fish, this grilled salmon, cut up in little squares, and then you could eat it like with, like just a fork. It was delicious, and I thought I would never have thought about doing something like that. Or do anything, and then you can grate some carrots or some beetroots on top of it just for more color. Or like grilled fish, like I said, or the grilled chicken, or grilled zucchini, stuffed red peppers, grilled tomatoes, yogurt, and you can try, of course, do the plain yogurt, and you can mix it with some fruits or some nuts. So there's thousands of ideas of healthy things that you can serve that can be tasty and that you can eat with no guilt, because it's all part of your program, okay? And then, of course, what are you going to do with the leftovers? You're going to send them away with the guests, okay? Most people, make it through the reunion and the get together okay. The problem is that then they have all the leftovers, so then it's not just that one evening, that's kind of like your cheat day or your cheat meal, but it ends up being the next day and the next day and the next day because you're just trying to get through all the leftovers. So what are you going to do with the leftovers? You're going to send them with the guests. That way they're not staying around in your house tempting you, okay? Okay, so what is going to happen if you're actually going out, to a restaurant, okay? So if you're going out to a restaurant, you could, a lot of the restaurants, they have their menu, listed in their website. So if you get a chance and you don't want to make this big announcement, to everybody with you, like, I'm on a diet, I'm following a specific, you don't need to make an announcement to I would encourage you not to, honestly, because everyone has a comment, everyone has some suggestions, and sometimes they're well-meaning, and then they're just going to confuse the heck out of you, and then you're not going to know, and then you thought you were very sure of what you were doing, and then you end up just getting all confused with everybody's comments, okay? So my recommendation is when I'm on a diet, when I'm doing something, nobody knows, I just do my own thing, and it is what it is, okay? So what you can do is check out the menu, before you go there, and choose things that are like skinless chicken or fish or like a lean meat, right? You can choose soup, for example, even though the soups may be higher in sodium, but you can choose a soup that has more vegetables and that's more like broth based, right? Choose a meal that's more grilled or sauteed or roasted or steamed. If it actually tells you the calories, then try to choose a meal that is about 500, calories. Because again, if you're trying to stick with like the 1300 or 1400 calories, that more more or less that's how much you should be having in a day. Then having a meal of 500, that would be kind of like in the top end of what you should be having for that meal. For the sides, choose more guacamole, pico de gallo, black beans, as opposed to fries, right? Light sauces flavored with herbs, spices, vinegar. Choose foods that are lower in carbs and higher in protein and fiber. Avoid all-you-can-eat buffets. Okay, so that's never a good idea to go to the all-you-can-eat buffets. Again, the same as with the get-togethers. You want to make sure that you never go to the restaurant hungry. Okay, so you want to continue following your program. You want to continue following your schedule. Maybe skip the carb, before you get to the restaurant, so that you can have your serving of carb, while you're at the restaurant. But never arrive to the restaurant hungry. You want to order a soup or a salad to start with, so that way you're not tempted, by the bread, and other appetizers that other people may be ordering, which may be higher in carbs or fats. This is really important. I love this recommendation. Order your meal before everyone else. How many times has it not happened? Sorry, Lynn. How many times has it not happened that you look at the menu and you're like, okay, I'm going to order this, and it's a healthy choice. And then as everyone else starts ordering their food, you're like, oh my God, that sounds so delish. I'm just going to order something else. So don't do that to yourself. Choose the healthy option and make sure you're the first one to order, and that way you can't change your mind. Avoid the pop and the juice, obviously. Just stick with water or choose like an herbal tea, a green tea, a peppermint tea. Most restaurants will have those options. There's nothing wrong, and I keep on hearing this more and more from patients and from friends of patients. As soon as you get your meal, ask for a takeout container. And even before you start your meal, there's a lot of people that are getting into these habits now that you just right away, you take out half of it or a third of it and you put it in a take-home container. And that way you make sure that you're not eating the full thing, especially if you find that the number of calories is way more than what you want to eat. Okay, so I thought that was a really cool recommendation. And then you can just take it home. Okay, so ask for sauces, condiments, toppings, and dressings on the side. How many times have you not ordered a salad and it's more dressing than lettuce, that you actually get in your plate? So always ask for the dressings and the toppings on the side so that you can have, more control on it. And you can also ask for a little bit of vinegar on the side, or ask for some olive oil or some lemon or lime. So that way you have the option of using less of the dressing, which chances are it's going to have more calories and more sugar, and just add some of the lemon or lime to it, or just add some of the vinegar or some of the olive oil. So a lot of the restaurants will have these options, okay? And then that way you can just put a little bit of the dressing just for flavor, but not a lot of it, okay? Choose tomato-based sauces over any creamy one, so that's always a good suggestion too. Ask to make a healthy swap. So for example, instead of the fries, ask them, like, do you have some steamed veggies, or do you have a salad? Can I have a salad instead? Okay, so that's always a good recommendation too. And try to eat your meal mindfully. So again, it's all about what we were saying before. Eat your meal slowly and savor. You want to flavor your food, okay? You want to make sure you're chewing your food, so that way you're not just eating it so quickly. You finish your meal before everybody else finishes, and then, you're still hungry. So slow down, while you're eating. And again, nobody needs to know this. This is just something you can do on your own, okay? And then just have a cup of tea or coffee or decaf instead of dessert, at the end. Look at this, ladies. I love to share this information because sometimes people sort of realize, oh, it's just a little bit of fries. How bad can it be? This is how bad it can be. A medium-sized fry. So whenever you go out anywhere, you order some, let's say Swiss Chalet, you order some chicken, you order the fries. The fries are usually, sometimes they really pound up the fries there in the dish. I've seen that. But let's say it's a medium amount of fries. Just the fries alone, it's going to be 400 calories. Okay, and obviously not the right calories, because it's all carbs, it's all fried, and it's going to increase your insulin. Okay, So I like to show this slide just to give people a bit of a visual, as to how much fries actually affect you. And this is another one for a visual. These are different burgers, that are out there. Now, I'm hoping nobody in the call in this class are eating a lot of hamburgers, per se. But when I saw this, it really, really astounded me. Like, look at the McDonald's double quarter pounder, with cheese. Just the sandwich alone is 750 calories, which is crazy. There's other burgers, like look at that burger. What is it? Sonic, supersonic bacon, double cheeseburger. The burger alone, not the fries, not anything, just the burger, 1,240 calories. So, and you're not just going to eat that and then not eat for the rest of the day. Obviously, that's not healthy, right? So, so please be mindful. Take some time to look at the menu before you go out. That is the best recommendation I can give you, so that you can go mentally prepared, and that way you can go and enjoy and not feel guilty that, oh, this is going to be a step backwards, for me, and then you're going to need 2 days to get back on track. Forget all that. You can go enjoy and be with your friends, and still, continue making healthy choices, for yourself. Do you have any questions so far? How can the sodium in the soup affect us? So, well, the sodium, the problem in soups, again, sometimes they just, even if you're getting like the bone broths, with the vegetables, it can be high in sodium. And for those of you who have high blood pressure problems or water retention problems, then you've probably already been told that you need to be careful with the amount of sodium that you're taking. But if you don't have those type of problems, and Jess, I don't think you do, but you still want to be careful with sodium in general, because the more sodium you're taking in, the more that's going to make you retain, water. And if you're retaining water, then you're retaining toxins, and then you're not going to be feeling, so great. So, but if you do end up choosing to have a soup while you're out, just make sure you're drinking lots of water, afterwards, so you can dilute it all, and make sure that you are eliminating the water. So that's kind of like a nice way of counteracting that. But I would definitely be more careful if you're having the water retention or the high blood pressure, problems. Okay. Any other questions, ladies? Can I see a show of hands? Have you guys been tuning in to the Facebook Lives? I'm just wondering, on Fridays, or listening to the replays? Just raise your hand if you have been, if you've gone in. Okay, excellent, Romeo, thank you. And Jessica, you too, excellent. So for those of you who haven't, I know everyone is busy, but yeah, if you ever get a minute, go into the Facebook group, and usually what I do in every Facebook Live that's posted, I type at the top what I talk about in that Facebook Live, just so that if you look at the topics and it doesn't interest you, then don't listen to it, right? So I figured that way, you don't have to listen to the whole half an hour to know what I'm talking about. Okay, so every post, every Facebook Live is going to have specified exactly what topics, we talk about. Okay, I'm just going to put your hands down, just in case I ask another question. Okay, so very quickly, this is really exciting for me. I love the evaluations. So I just want to ask you a few questions, just more so for feedback for me. I'm always looking to see how I can improve, my classes. So I just have quick, questions. It's about 4 questions or so. And I just want to hear from you. So, course content, did it meet your expectations? The information that you learned during the 6 weeks, did it meet your expectations? Let's just raise our hands. So raise your hand if the answer is yes. Did the course, and I'm not going to say your name or anything like that. Okay. So, oh, excellent. Excellent. So everyone is raising their hands. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that. Okay, I'm going to put your hands down for the next question. Okay, excellent. So was the information, was the level of the course, did you find it too easy, just right, or too difficult. So maybe this one I'm going to ask you to type it in into the question box if you don't mind. So just type it in, too easy, just right, or too difficult. Okay. So I want to make sure that I present information that's new and that's exciting and that's relevant and that's, you know, reliable and effective. I tend to talk too much sometimes, so I find sometimes I can overwhelm people. So I don't know if any one of you found that, but yeah, just type it into the question box. Did you find the information given too easy, just right, or too difficult? Okay, so I'm just going to check the question box. Oh, excellent. What is the password? Oh, Marina, are you talking about the Facebook group? Maybe. Maureen, if you are talking about the Facebook group, if you are in Facebook, do you want to just type in the name of how I can find you on Facebook, and then maybe I can just send you an invite. Okay. Yeah, so if you want to just type in or maybe email me, not sure. Okay, so what I'm going to do, Maureen, is I'm going to email you. I'm going to make a note for myself. I'm going to email you the link for the Facebook group. Okay, and then all you have to do is click on the link, and there's going to be a button that says ask to be invited or something like that, or ask to join maybe. And then I will get the request, and then I will accept, you know, your request. Okay, perfect. Okay, so everyone is saying just right, just right, just right. Most of it was familiar to me. Okay, not sure. Okay, perfect. So that is for question number 2. Okay, almost done, ladies. Would you recommend the group class to a friend or to a loved one? So let's just raise our hands. So raise your hand if you feel it was beneficial enough and you would feel comfortable recommending this program to a friend. Oh, perfect. Thank you. Oh, that made my day. Excellent. Everyone put their hands up. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Okay, so the next question is, I think this is the last question. Oh, no, 2 more questions. What did you feel was the best part of the group class? Okay, you can just type this one in into the question box if you don't mind. What was the best part of this group class? Was it the information? Was it the recipes? Was it the pre-recorded session or the live sessions? What did you think was the best part of this group class? And then, of course, you guys probably guessed the next question is what do you think I can improve on? So, but let's first answer this first question. So what was the best part of the class? In the past, some people have told me that they really enjoyed the live classes. Other people have said that they like the combination of the pre-recorded and the live classes because it gives them more flexibility. The information and recipes, I'm just gonna write all this down. Info and recipes, like the live sessions and hear from others in the class. Yes, you know what, Romil, I completely agree with you. That is so helpful. You know, just listening to the questions, listening to the comments, you know, so it gives you that feeling you're not alone, you know, and it gives you that sort of like encouragement, you know, that you're on the right track. It had a personal component. Information was great. Thank you. Having the variety of the live and pre-recorded sessions. Yes, a lot of people like that. You know, I was kind of worried the first time I did it. I'm like, oh, I wonder if I should do it all live. But most people give me that feedback, you know, that having that flexibility of having some of the pre-recorded sessions is helpful. The recipes and the hormone info, excellent. Like the combination of the classes, like the review of the meal plans. Yes, we did that last time, Maureen. I know you found that really helpful. I'm glad. Okay, excellent. So thank you so much. So last but not least, is there any part of the group class that you think I could improve on? Anything at all? And don't feel bad. Don't think that you're going to hurt my feelings or anything. I just really want to know if there's anything I can improve on. So I know in the past, and I had a bit of a conflicting feedback on this because normally I do my classes on Thursdays and then I send out the recipes on Saturdays. And somebody was saying that it would have been helpful to get the recipes on this Fridays because that specific person goes grocery shopping on Fridays, so she can start trying to do the recipes on the Saturday. So I don't know if that was a big deal for you or not. But anyways, nobody's typing anything in, so maybe you don't have anything for feedback. So if you can think of anything that you think, I could do differently, to improve the classes, please, please, please don't. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I just really want to know, your feedback, on that. Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much for taking a few minutes, on that. Okay. So where do you guys go from here? Okay. It's really, really important for me as your naturopathic doctor, as your naturopathic coach, or whatever you want to call me, to make sure that, all of you have improved to some level, all of you. You may not be 100% where you'd like to be, but it's really important that you continue moving forward and that you don't go backwards, okay? So you can decide, well, those 6 weeks were fun, that was nice, I'm feeling a little bit better, and then slowly you just go back to doing what you were doing before. That's option number one, which I'm hoping that's not going to happen to any one of you. Option number two is like, okay, well, I think I have enough information, I'm just going to continue trying to do this on my own. And of course you're going to be on your own, most of the time. But before I tell you, something that I'm going to be offering, in case you're interested, I want you to think about the different stages of our health. A lot of people are really, really sick. Some people are not so sick and don't have an actual diagnosis or anything like that. They're more in surviving, mode. People that are in surviving mode, like they're still working, they're still getting up. Maybe they're taking medications to cope. Maybe, they have lower energy, but they still keep on going because life, has to go on, right? And then we have the patients who are kind of like in the stable, mode. Overall, these patients are not feeling so bad, but they're kind of go in and out of feeling okay. They're not always, sort of stable. So maybe right now you're feeling stable, but you know that you can easily just slip out. And then, of course, very few times do we see those patients that are super sexy duper stage. They're feeling good. They're at the weight where they'd like to be. Their energy is high and they have good control in their lifestyle, and their nutrition, and all that. So what I'd like to know is, what stage do you think you're in right now? So type it into the question box. Are you in the really sick stage? Oh, a printout of the hormones and the rows would be great. Okay, that's a great suggestion. Thank you, Maureen. I'll keep that in mind. Okay, so answers are coming in. Unstable. I'm surviving. I'm sick. Yeah, some people have actual, degenerative diseases, or maybe they've been dealing with cancer. Maybe they've been dealing with autoimmune problems. I go in and out of surviving and stable. Yeah, that is a very common thing as well. Okay, so I want you guys to think about this. Where in these stages are you in? Okay. And then the other thing that I want you to start thinking about, are you ready to make long-term changes? Okay. Chances are, if you're surviving, if you're sick, if you're stable, you've been probably like this for a while, right? Like it's not just this past month that you've been feeling like this. This is probably something that you've been dealing with, for a little while. So I want you to think, am I really ready for more long-term changes, right now? So raise your hand. Do you think you're ready right now for long-term changes? Excellent. Yeah, and for some of you, it may be, maybe you have new grandchildren, or maybe you've been diagnosed with something and that has been a really big wake-up call, or maybe you're just generally just sick and tired of feeling sick, pretty much. So this is what I thought would be a good plan for all of you, okay? Is for the next 3 months, what I would like you to try to do, just like we've been doing in the 6 weeks, continue doing the fasting cleanse as indicated on our session number 4, okay? You have the handouts. I'm hoping all of you have tried it. Can you raise your hands if all of you raise your hand if you tried the fasting cleanse? I just want to know. Okay, I know Marina, I know you did it. I know Jessica, you did it. Oh, Romeo, perfect. Okay, so you did it too. Okay, and a couple of ladies didn't try it yet. Okay, so if you did do the fasting cleanse, my recommendation to you is continue doing it for 2 days out of every week. Like I said, my previous patient from this morning, she does it every Thursday, Friday. But maybe you want to do it every Monday, Tuesday, kind of like at the beginning of the week. Or maybe you feel like, so you know what, my weekends are usually my bad days. I'm just going to do my fasting cleanse on the weekend, whatever works for you. But continue trying for the next 3 months, continue trying to do it for 2 days out of every week. During the rest of the week, then you want to eat the way I described on session number 2, according to that chart, specifically the number of servings from the handout that I gave you, okay? That is just a very healthy way of eating. That is not a diet that you follow for 1 week. That's a way of eating, okay? So this is how we all should be eating, okay? So you can continue doing the 1 green smoothie every day. You can continue having the protein shake every day. You want to continue keeping hydrated, every day, okay? So, and then November is going to come around, and what I'm going to be offering in November, and I know some of you have already taken this, I'm going to be offering a 3-week class that's going to take you through a 10-day express detox, okay? Some of you have done this with me already, and some of you have not. But what you're going to find is that even if you are on a good track right now, it's not going to be perfect. We're all humans. Busy times are going to come, invitations are going to come, and we're not going to be able to 100% follow it. So then by November, what you're going to find is you're probably going to need a little bit of a reset, okay? So then at that time, I find that's the perfect time. I've been doing this for years now. That is the perfect time for patients, for us as women, for everyone to go through a 10-day, okay, it's not the full month, it's not the 6 weeks, it's 10 days this time. It's just an express quick detox, because that's going to help lower your cravings again if you've gotten off track, and get you ready for Christmas season. Because if you don't get on track, and if you're not in a good place, by November, then come Christmas season, how many times has it not happened that it's an easy 5 pounds, extra, at Christmas, and then in January we're having to lose all the weight that we wanted to lose to begin with, plus, the extra, pounds, that we gained, during Christmas time, okay? So the idea is during the next 3 months, so August, September, October, you're going to follow that recommendation from the previous slide. And then in November, you would join me again, and we would do the 10-day express detox, okay? When are we actually starting? The classes start, again, we're going to do it on a Thursday, so Thursday, 6:30, so the same time as what we're doing it now. All 3 sessions are going to be live this time around, and it's going to be November the 4th, November the 11th, November the 10th, 18th. So by the time November 18th comes around, you're going to start feeling so much better. You would have lost a little bit more weight. Your cravings would have gone down, and all the wonderful sort of benefits that we get, from doing a detox. And hopefully that's going to get you into a good track, coming into, Christmas season, okay? So for those of you who have not taken the class, what to expect? You're going to expect a 3-part online presentation. I'm going to give you the full-blown menus as to what you're going to be needing and eating, okay? So no thinking involved. You're just going to have to follow, the menus. Easy and tasty recipes. So again, more recipes during the detox. We're going to be filling out the detox questionnaire that you guys are familiar with before and after. It's amazing. And people who have taken the class can tell you just how much better your detox questionnaires can improve in just the 10 days. And then, of course, you always have access to the private Facebook groups, so that if you have any questions, any concerns, any reactions, or anything like that, you have my support. So on session number 1, it's all about how to prepare, because we're a total of about the 2 weeks, right? You know, the 14 days, you know, together. So the first 4 days, it's just you prepping for the detox, right? And then you go through the 10 days, you know, detox. We're going to talk about when to buy organic, whether you need any supplements. By the way, this detox, most of my programs are try to use food, you know, as your medicine as much as possible. What to expect during the detox, tips and how to be successful. And then we're going to get you started, you know, with the detox. So the first 4 days is the prepping, and then the next 3 days of that week is the first 3 days of the detox. Then on the second live session, we're going to talk about how to eat for clarity, how to detoxify for mental clarity. We're going to talk about your lymphatics, and we're going to talk about what exactly you need to do on the last 7 days, because by the time we meet the second time, you would have had already 3 days of your detox, right? So then we're going to talk about how to continue doing the next full week, okay? And then session number 3 is, again, just how to continue maintaining, you know, the improvements. And of course, I'm giving you sample menus, I'm giving you recipes. So the regular cost for a program like this, it's $330, okay? But if you sign up today, like if you feel like this is a good plan for you, because I want to make sure you don't go backwards, you know, in the improvements that you've been able to achieve so far. If you sign up today, you can join for just the $197, okay? And again, if you have healthcare coverage, I would give you an invoice, and then, I don't know, you can try to claim it for whatever they're going to cover you. If you are interested, there's the link. I'll probably send you an email with the link as well, drsandramirandand.com/detox. So here's a summary. So it's going to start on November the 4th from 6:30 to 7:30, or maybe a little bit longer, like I usually go longer. And then November the 11th, November the 18th. So you can pencil me in into your calendars right now so that you don't make any plans. It would be the $197. That's the link to sign up. And for those of you who sign up today, the extra bonus that I want to throw in today, because I really want you to encourage you to do this, is you can come to my clinic once a month for the next 3 months to check your body composition. Checking your body composition, ladies, keeps you accountable, okay? And you can do this, and this is all included, okay? So you can come in, you can send me an email, you can call me, we can set up a time, and then you're gonna come into the clinic the once a month, and we're gonna check your body composition so that you know that the time is coming to check your body composition, and that's gonna help you to stay on track and to make sure you continue doing the fasting cleanses. Or if you haven't done the fasting cleanse yet, maybe this will also motivate you to try it. Try it for a day, try it for a day and a half, okay? So whatever you can, do. And as another bonus, because I'm feeling super generous and excited about this, is I offer vitamin treatments. And for the next 3 months, when you come in for your body composition test, I will also give you like a vitamin shot. Most people who are trying to lose the weight really benefit from our fat burner shot. That's only vitamins. We never use drugs, at the clinic. It's only vitamins. And what it has, it's a combination of B vitamins, a combination of MIC, which is lipotrophic factors like methionine and acetylcholine, which helps your body to burn fat more effectively. And it has creatinine, which is a nutrient that gets depleted once we reach 40 years old. And a lot of the studies show that it's because of this depletion that can make our weight loss a little bit more challenging and a little slower. So patients always find that when they get the fat burner shot, it's easier. I mean, it's not some magical shot. You still need to do the work at home, obviously, but it helps, and it makes it a little bit easier for you to lose the weight. If your goal is not to lose weight, and maybe you're just dealing with a lot of stress and adrenal fatigue, then we also have a De-Stress Me shot. Again, slightly different combination of vitamins, but very safe and effective as well. If your goal is to detoxify, we have a detox shot, which is glutathione, which is the strongest antioxidant known to humans. So that's very, very healthy as well. And we also have our booster shot, which is our immune system, you know, shot. And that's just a combination of homeopathic remedies, and again, super safe, you know, and very effective at helping to decrease the chances of flus, or trying to help decrease, if you do get sick, the intensity of your flu, you know, if you do get sick. So it's something that I've been using for 21 years with my patients. Most of my patients come in once a month during the winter months, and they get the booster shot. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm done. So so this is my plan for you ladies. You know, continue doing the program. 2 days of the fasting, 5 days of eating the way I showed you in our session, in our second session. Okay, you're going to keep on doing this for the next 3 months. Once a month, we're going to set up a time to meet one-on-one. You come to the clinic. I'm located in Ajax. I believe most of you are just local. You're going to come in. I'm going to check your body composition. You're going to tell me which one of the vitamin shots would be best helpful to you. Okay, so that's going to help you stay on track. And then in November, we're going to do the 10-day express detox. This is an amazing deal, ladies. I'm feeling just super generous, you know, today. So that's $197. If you're interested, that's the link, drsandramiranda.nd.com/detox. I'll send you guys an email, you know, as well. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Raise your hand if you think you're interested, you know, in doing this. Excellent. Perfect. Okay, so half of you, which is still okay. So if you're not interested in following this, if you think you can do this on your own, then that's good too. Or maybe some of you already bought the body composition, you know, to do it at home. I'm not sure. Then yeah, you know, refer back to the information. If you are going to do this on your own, refer back to the information from time to time, because sometimes you forget key things. Okay, so the information that I shared with you is just things that I've noticed that works, you know, and you have seen it works because most of you are feeling so much better. So at this point, I just really want to thank all of you for joining us, you know, and for sharing and for opening up. And if you have any questions moving forward, then just join into the Facebook group. I'm available. I want to be available. I want to help out. Okay. So unless there's any other questions at this point, I'm just going to check the question box. Oh, somebody's asking, what's the body composition test? I've made several long-term changes over the years, but unable to reap the benefits. What does a body composition test cost? Well, Veronica, the body composition would be included, you know, in the if you join today into what I'm suggesting right now for the next 4 months, that would all just be included, you know, in the 197, you know, the 10-day express detox and the once a month checkup, you know, one-on-one with the vitamin shots. So if you wanted to just do the body composition, usually I do that during a consultation. So if my patients were coming in for a consultation, you know, and then of course I wouldn't charge them extra, you know, because it's just part of the consult. So, okay, you are so welcome. You're so welcome. So yeah, so I hope that answers your question. So if there's no other questions, thank you so much, ladies, again for joining. I always have a blast, you know, doing these type of classes, and I'm glad all of you have enjoyed it and found it helpful as well. So I think that's going to conclude our session for today. And I hope to see all of you part of our Facebook group. And I hope to see all of you in November, you know, as well, or in my clinic, you know, to get their shots. Okay. So thank you so much, ladies.